Hi, Lee Phillips here. I want to talk to you for a minute. I always get the question, does an LLC, a single member LLC, have asset protection? And the answer is, well, that's a dumb question. I don't understand. Because an LLC has two aspects to the asset protection. One is the corporate shield. The corporate shield protects me from what happens out in the company. And that corporate shield is always there. Whether it's a single member LLC, whether it's a multiple member LLC, whether it's taxed as a disregarded entity, whether it's taxed as a C corporation, or under Chapter C of the IRS code, it's always there. So in that sense, the question, does a single member LLC have asset protection, makes no sense. And that's what people usually think of when they say asset protection. So yes, a single member LLC has asset protection. The question is, does a single member LLC have charging order protection? That's a different type of protection. What charging order does, and we have other videos on charging order protection, and you need to understand it in detail because it's important. The charging order protection protects the assets of the company, and that might be a single family rental. Whatever the company owns, whatever the LLC owns, it protects that asset from what happens to the members, the owners. Now, if an owner, a stockholder of IBM gets sued or goes bankrupt or gets divorced and IBM stock is lost, IBM could care less. But if it's your little company and you own all of the stock, you're a single member LLC, right? You own all of the stock, then the question is, does the charging order protection protect the assets of the company? And the answer is, it depends. It depends upon which state you live in. A number of states now, Utah and Idaho, I think Maryland, have actually passed laws which say that single member LLCs don't get charging order protection. That is, if I get sued, my creditors can immediately come and take the assets of the LLC as part of the judgment they get against me. They don't really take the assets of the LLC, they get the stock of the LLC, but essentially, or the membership interest of the LLC, but essentially they get the assets of the LLC. Now, in those states, Utah, Idaho, that have passed laws, you have to have at least two members, at least two owners. And the concept is we're protecting the other owner, and you're going to have to listen to the other YouTube videos on charging orders to get that concept. But there are a lot of states, the Ninth Circuit, which is all the wackos up and down the West Coast, you guys, you don't get charging order protection for single member LLCs in bankruptcy, for example. But we have a lot of states now. We have about a dozen. Florida, Colorado. There are a lot of states, about a dozen of them, like I say, that now say if you only have a single member LLC, you don't get the charging order protection. The assets of the LLC are not protected from the liabilities, the bankruptcies, the illnesses, the problems that the individual owners of the LLC, members of the LLC, get into. So it's not the liabilities that you have personally, the LLC assets are not protected if you have a single member LLC. Obviously, the trend is to more and more states, and it's going to take a long time, years, but more and more states are going to the concept of single member LLCs do not have charging order protection. All LLCs will always have the corporate shield, which protects the member from what happens in the company. So when you say, does a single member LLC have asset protection? I go, well, I don't know. What do you mean by asset protection? Does that mean the corporate shield, or does it mean the charging order protection? Now, I've got a full set out for you. It's called the LLC mini course. And we've got five courses that you go through. They're delivered electronically, and you can read through them and pick up lots of aspects about LLCs. Now, don't forget to subscribe and hit the button and ring the bell and do whatever else you do out there in YouTube land. But if you like us, please make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. In fact, a lot of you may want my written newsletter. I send out a written newsletter every month. I write it. It isn't a canned thing. If you want that, you're going to have to email us at info@legalese.com and tell them you want the LLC mini course or the LLC mini course, and you want to sign up for the newsletter. There is a charge on it. I think it's $5.72 for the first 3 months. It's actually physically mailed to you. $5.72 or whatever it is for the first 3 months. And then after that, it's $19, $20 a month. But I have people who have been on it for 15 years. And I keep writing new newsletter articles every month. So it's good to have you. And we will see you on our next YouTube video.